All right. Hello, class. How are you doing? The weather's been awesome. So hopefully you've been out and you've been able to enjoy the weather. So I'm going to keep this video not that long. I'll try to make it short. And yeah, so I'll begin with, if you were here in person, or if we would be doing this synchronously, then I would be, asking you to put it in the chat box or come use your Zoom and tell me how you are all doing. What were some of the highlights of the weekend? So I can tell you, I can start sharing mine. I had a nice weekend. I don't remember actually what I did on Saturday. I think it was just, cooking and groceries and all of that. And on Sunday, the weather was still so beautiful and it's still so nice. Today, of course, I'm sure you've heard the storm. It was so bad. Like, wow, it was just, my house was like almost tilting. So so on Sunday, I actually, both my kids, they had birthday parties, and my daughter was invited to a birthday party right across our house. It's the neighbor's house, and they'd had it on their driveway. And my son was invited to this place, which is, I've never been there. Maybe some of you have been there. It's called Blackwell Preserve. And I was invited there. And not me, my son was invited, and I actually I had to drop him off. And it was so beautiful. The day was so nice. I had to leave them there. But I took some time to, just strolled around a little bit, enjoyed the nature, enjoyed outdoors, enjoyed the weather. Yeah, I actually wanted to show you some pictures that I have from their birthdays. Let's see. Oh, goodness, I think 1 second. 1 second. I'm trying to get the picture. I think I pulled it up for all of you. I want to share it with you. Yeah, I think it's right here. Share screen. Yes. So this is from my little girl's birthday party. It is right across our house. This is my little one, 8-year-old. You could see everybody. Some of them have their masks, and some of them, I think she lost her mask. And yeah, so she came back to the house to get her mask. Yeah, this is she, and then next one is this is my son, and this is the preserve that I was talking about. It was so beautiful out there. It was so, I mean, this is not a November, typical Chicago mid-November weather for sure. Early November, I'm sorry, not mid, but first week of November, you don't get this weather. So these are his friends, and I think the birthday boy is right here. That's the birthday boy, yeah. And that's my son. He's very cautious. He always wears his mask. So yeah, so I think he said that this is a picture where friend's mother took this picture of him. It was beautiful. I don't know what else. Yes. Oh, yes. This is why I wanted to share this to you. Remember, I told you last week they were bloody nurse. She was a bloody nurse, and he is the ghost. Ghost, or I don't know, the Slender Man. I'm sorry, Slender Man. He's going to hate me for that. All right. So much for my little weekend adventure. Would love to hear from you. So I'm going to show you what you're going to do today. So here is the good stuff. Now I'm going to screen share with you, and I will take you to, yeah, I think that's the way to go. No, maybe here. So 1 second here. Should I do it this way? Maybe it'll kick me out. Yeah, I'm sure it'll kick me out. Oh, there you go. So quickly getting into class. Okay, this is the class, our class here. So class, I've hidden, because I don't want to confuse this. This is no longer going to be week 3 discussion is now away. It's going to be hidden away from you because this session is over. So so that you don't get confused anymore. So this is over. So now we are moving on to week 4 discussion forum. All right. So this is we are halfway. We just met and we are halfway. So we have another 4 more weeks to go. Can you imagine? Week 4 discussion forum. This, if you click this is what you're going to get. So I've written informative speech continued because we were talking about informative speech right from week 3. Remember, we have this 2-week challenge and it started on November 2nd and ends on the day of your speech. The challenge that you've taken for 2 weeks, and I read all your discussion posts. I haven't graded your last not your speech, but your last. Actually, 1 second, 1 minute. Let me just see what I have done, which you should have got an announcement. Yeah, so you know that all the profiles, of course, I think I mentioned it to you, profile speeches have been, all of that has been graded. But what I want to say is your Amazon speech, I have not looked into it. I've seen it, but I have not been able to give you a grade on that one. It should be done. Hopefully by Friday, it should be done. Okay, so I know that all of you have presented your Amazon speech, which was a 5-minute followed up with a 2-minute analysis. I've gone to Go React. I've seen, that some of you, I've seen I've heard a few of them, but I have not been able to give you my comments or a grade as of now. So you should be getting that sometime by Friday. Okay, so that's how last week we talked about informative speeches. We talked about informative speech strategies. You looked at Amazon, the interview between Jeff Bezos and Charlie Rose, and you talked about bias in your discussion post. I saw that your discussion about bias and how informative speeches should be free of bias. You mentioned that, but it's, again, some of you acknowledge that it's very hard to eliminate bias completely from the conversation. But your focus should be in informative speech is to provide information. That's more than getting them to do something that you want them to do. The action step is not there. You don't really need them to take an action. You really want them to have an insight, learn what you have to talk about, and have an insight and leave the room. Right? That's what you really want them to do. So that was a discussion, and we had a discussion about bias, and I like the discussion, the fact that, again, you mentioned that's very difficult to take out bias from a conversation, and you created a speech on Jeff Bezos's behalf. All right, so I'm yet to provide my video comments and yet to grade you for that one. I know that you have looked at the speech videos of your peers and you've made video comments too. I know that as well. All right, so now this week is going back to the discussion. This week is discussion 4. We are still continuing our discussion on informative speeches. So this week we are kind of on day, I calculated it. We started the project on day 2nd, 5. We are pretty much on day 10 of our we're coming to a close of our 14-day challenge. So now this is what you need to do. I just opened, I think I didn't show it. So I was on discussion forum and I just opened discussion week 4 discussion forum. All right, this is the one that I opened, and that's only going to be the one that's visible to you. So you can see I have 2 questions for you here. All right, so these are and of course I'll always give you a checklist before you go on Saturday. I'll give you a little checklist. You can obviously look at the checklist and this is what I've done. Okay, tick mark. I've done this one, this one. So it kind of is easier for you. So here I have 2 discussion questions here. So let's go to discussion question 1. So discussion question 1, first thing I've asked you to tell me, share, just as I shared with you, I tried to show you 2 pictures. This is just going to make it really, relatable. We'll be able to relate to each other because, we are human beings and we have our life apart from just speech, right? So I would like to share a story. Just share and tell us how your week was. Could be bad, could be good, could be productive. You slept, you you were watching college football, you relaxed, you went out trekking, whatever you did. What were some of the high points, low points, anything that you would like to discuss? If you have any pictures or videos that you would like to share with us, please put it in the discussion post. You can have a link and say that, this is something interesting that I watched, or this is something interesting that I did. It could be a self thing that you did with your family, or it could be something inspirational that you've learned, or something that you want to share with. This is the time for you to share something. So you just have a little note on that one, okay? And then the second thing that I have asked you to do is, you can see this. There's this link. This is a TED Talk by this person. His name is Daryl Davis. I don't want to give you too much information about this, but I want you to watch this. TED Talk. Okay, it's one of these really transformational TED Talks. Very strongly recommended, and very strong actually. If you hear his whole story. So just like you did a 2-week challenge, he also did a lot more, much more than a 2-week challenge. Okay, so he talks about. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I want you to see this. He basically talks about a time where in his life where he did a few things to understand a few questions that he had in his mind. Okay, so he joined a group, and it was very unlikely for him to join that group, and just to know what they think, how do they look at life, how do they look at him. So this is a very transformational video that you should, I think, a speech that is a good watch. Okay, so I want you to going back to his TED Talk. I want you to tell me once. This is how you're going to do it. You're going to watch the speech maybe once, twice, thrice. Okay, however long it takes. I think the first time you're going to be pretty moved by, and I think by that time it's not going to strike. I think the second time you will be able to read into what was his attention getting strategy. You're going to tell me how did he, in the first paragraph or in the first part of his speech, how did he get the attention of the audience? Okay, what kind of strategy did he use? What did he say? Would that kind of shook us, or that kind of took us out of our comfort zone, or maybe created caution or panic or surprise, amazement in us? What was the attention getting strategy? The next thing you got to tell me is how does he establish his credibility? Why should we listen to him? I probably didn't know him before the speech. I didn't do any research on him. So why do you think I would want to listen to him? He's not a big celebrity or somebody who I knew from a long time. What did he say that made him credible for me as an audience? Why do you think I should give my time to him? Okay, these are some of the things that we will really hear the speech, because he's pursuing some very salient, some very important questions in the speech. You need to tell me what those 5, think about, it could be 3 questions, 4 questions. I think I counted there were about 5 questions. What were some of the 5 questions that he wanted to know? What were some of the questions that he was pursuing? All right, this is an informative, he uses a lot of informative speech strategies, something that we discussed. He uses explanation, he uses definition, description, narration, explanation. So you tell me, once you watch the video, speech video, what was where did he use terms, and how did he define it? How did he use definition? Where did he put explanation? How did he do demonstration? How did he do narration? Which was the highest quotient out of all these informative strategies? Where do you see, let's say you can tell me, I think narration was the strongest, or you can tell me that demonstration was the strongest. Where do you see it being very high? Support the answers with examples. Tell me, what were some of the key concepts? There were a lot of concepts or terms that he has used, explored. Some of the terms I think I knew most of the terms, okay? And I'm sure you will also know most of the terms that he was explaining. But he had his own spin to it. He had his own original insight to it. I started looking at the term through his lens. So he does use a lot of key concepts of terms, all right, in his speech. List some of them, all right? Now, at the end of the speech, I want to tell you, do you think this speech was strictly informative? Was it completely strictly informative? where there was no intent to persuade you? To answer this question, you can please think about what bias do you think, even before you heard the speech, once you clicked the TED Talks link, when you saw the title, what bias doesn't have to be negative, as I mentioned to you. It could bias can be positive or productive or unproductive. It becomes unproductive when it becomes a conversation stopper, when you don't want to hear the other side. That's when it becomes unproductive. So don't think about bias being negative. So what bias do you think that the speech presuppose that you will have? What bias do you think the speech presuppose that you will have even before you heard the speech? What bias do you think the person who wrote the speech presupposes that the audience may have bias about this? What bias do you think was it? Do you think, is there any attempt to change the bias that we have? And does the speech sound informative to you, or is there a persuasive slant to it? That's your decision. Make that call after you hear the speech. So you got to respond to these questions, okay? So that's the first part. Okay, now the second part. Go back here, Big Four discussion forum. So I just discussed this discussion question 1 with you. Now I am going to discuss question number 2 with you. Okay, so in question number 2, I have everything written here, okay? So you need to, in this discussion question 2, you need to type your informative speech, okay? You need to type it all out, 500 words. I've kind of given you a sample, I've attached a sample informative speech, something that I did even, I think I may have not, I don't know whether, I think I had it in a video, but now I have the text here. So, and I've highlighted the strategies, okay? So it needs to be just about this length. Even this length is a little too much for a 5-minute speech. This is coming to around 600, almost 700 words. So you need to actually make it 500, okay? 500 to 600 words at the most, okay? So here you can see there's an introduction, there's an attention getter. All of you need to have in your speech, you need to have an attention getter. You need to have a credibility statement. Why is it that you are invested in this topic? If you're talking about going on a hike, why are you doing this? What led you to this choice? Okay, I need to know that. The audience needs to know that. Then you need to explain the challenge, okay? I would like you to have an innovative side like this one. I think all of you watched this little video. It was a TED Talk, and I think you watched this. He called it 1 second every day. I want you to come up with an innovative title for your speech, okay? So how did you start this? I would like to know, you need to explain the challenge, right? Like he's saying that I'm recording 1 second of my life every day for the rest of my life, okay? Chronologically slicing all my events together, okay? So he explains what the challenge is. You need to explain what challenge you took. What was the point of this challenge? Explain what this challenge did for you, okay? So I'm kind of explaining the significance of the challenge that you took up, okay? Now, you can see that he starts, the speaker here in the speech starts, he explains why he took up this challenge, why did he start the challenge? And I'm not going to repeat everything here because it's just, you can see it, you can read it, but I'm just going to guide you through this. So there's an explanation, why did he start the challenge? There he uses a storytelling method. He explains the obstacles. You guys have to explain why you took up this challenge. How did it play out for you? What did you do? All right, just like a story. The first day I woke up, I started, these were the negative thoughts in my head. Or first day I thought that, it's too cold. I don't want to go out hiking. I don't want to go out for a run, okay? Or whatever challenge you've taken. Think about the thoughts that happened in every day in your life and kind of create a story, create a narrative out of that. That's your challenge in terms of speech writing. So you got to explain, why did you take up this challenge? What led you to it? describe the challenge that you took. What did you do every day, every second day, every third day? How did you build a story out of this? So you can all, and within the narrative, explain what were some of the obstacles that you faced while you're doing this challenge. Maybe one day you were feeling good, second day you were not feeling good. The third day you said skip it. And the fourth day, maybe you just felt energized. Talk about all of that. Again, just look at how this, I'll probably add a link here. I did it last time, but I'll add the link. You can watch the video. Of course, I have kind of made it really short for you. It is like a 7 to 8 minute speech, and you guys just have about 5 minutes. Okay, so I kind of shortened the length so that you can see how much you have to write. And then in the conclusion, the speaker talks about the reflection. What is afterthoughts after he does the experiment? Okay, what insight does he gain, and what insight does he share with you that you can take home with you? Okay, so and then he ends the speech. So what I've done, class, here, I have also attached here, as you can see, there's a PowerPoint attachment. I've kind of given you some more instructions. This is the informative speech. This is the challenge will run from 2nd to November 15 is the day when you're doing it. And I said that if you could talk to, some of you are doing that, I could see it in the discussion forum. A lot of you are doing the same topic. So if you did, talk to each other through it, buddy system, helped each other, fine, go ahead, do that. As I said, mentioned that here. I kind of, again, list, and you know this, you've already done that, but this is what I want to tell you. This is the important part. Remember that this is an informative speech, and as opposed to a profile speech where it was all about yourself, whether you talked about disguise, or whether you talked about resilience, or whether you talked about silence, it was about a chapter in your life. And I wanted to see you, okay? Here, in the informative speech, take the role of a teacher, take the role of an expert, okay? You had the privilege of doing a 2-week challenge, all right? So now, because of your living this challenge for 2 weeks, I will consider, and the audience considers you an expert in that topic. So whatever, whether it is thinking positive, whether you're thinking of exercising every day, you are the teacher. You are going to use informative speech strategies to teach the audience about what you did, okay? So that's something that you have to keep thinking about, and you got to think of yourself as the boss, as the expert, as the teacher. So you need to have an attention getter, okay? You need to say, why did you choose the challenge? There should be a credibility statement as to why we should even listen to you. What was so good about the challenge that led you into it? We have to explain whether it's going to whether it's hiking, whether it's thinking positive, whether it's joining writing a blog. You got to tell me, you got to explain the concept, okay? Whatever you're doing, explain the concept. At this point, provide your research, provide your external sources that kind of support or explains the concept, just like you are doing, supports your thought on this. So use explanation, and I've said you can either use explanation, definition, description, explain the concept that you are experimenting on. Then you second here. Then the next thing that you do is you need to tell me how you lived those 2 weeks. How did you do that challenge in those 2 weeks? How and use your storytelling skills, use your narration skills, use your demonstration skills to show what is it that you did for 2 weeks to live through this challenge, okay? Include what were some of the challenges that you faced in terms of, did you see any behavioral changes in you? What were some of the challenges in implementing this change? Go to say that. Did you have any setbacks? Again, put it in storytelling method, include it in your story. At the end, you got to tell me whether this had a positive, neutral, negative effect on you. And then this is reflection. You reflect, okay? And then if you have to provide a goodie bag to your audience and you have to make them leave with an insight, what is the insight that you would like them to have, that you want them to take home with, okay? So these are the things that you need to have, and I've kind of attached, if you look at the discussion forum, the discussion question too, I also have just showed you right now a sample informative speech. I'll also share the TED Talk link if you want to see that. Again, look at the look at the outline that I have for that one. That will give you more some more clarity, I guess. Okay, and here, this is, again, I've attached it here as well. I've also attached it here. This is, actually, I have a link here. I don't need to put the link here. So this is the link. You go to this link. It's called 1 Second Every Day of My Life, okay? And this is a TED Talk, and I actually asked you to watch it in your one of my early videos, so I'm sure all of you remember it. But I kind of, I edited a lot of things from there, kind of didn't change the content at all, but I took off a lot of things because I wanted to make it fit into a 5-minute speech. I think this one is, it's okay for, I mean, for a 5-minute speech, I might be able to take off a few things more, but I think it's okay. I mean, it gives you a good idea. So I've shown you how intention getter is being used. I've shown you how credibility statement, explanation, narration, reflection, demonstration. I've shown you all that has been used, okay? And this is your speech guideline. So again, remember, you're the expert in informative speech. You're the expert, you're the boss, you're the teacher. You have run this challenge on yourself. Now use informative strategies to teach the class about the insights that you have gained, okay? This is what I want. Again, not repeating the same thing, 500 words, speech delivery, record yourself, make sure, provided these common feedback to a lot of you, make sure your volume is at the maximum, okay? If you are, and all of you have to be behind the camera, at least so that I can see you. You have to do this every time, but let me just, 1 second here. At least till this part, okay? And you should have your note cards, 5 note cards, all right? And project your voice, amplify your voice, okay? You have to do that every time when you have a in-person class, in-person speech. You will have to, even if you have a microphone, you will have to amplify your voice because that gets the mood going, okay? So amplification of voice, 5 to 6 note cards, not Blakeshree, you know what note cards are, flashcards, note cards, show it to me at the beginning, and then strong eye contact, vocal modulation, body language, hand movement, gestures, all of that in the speech, okay? So that's what you got to do. Now going back to your, 1 second here. Yeah, going back to your discussion question. Yeah, so going back to your discussion question. So these are the to-dos, okay? So you need to, repeating, you need to write your whole speech, given you the guidelines to do this. I've put a sample speech. I've given you the link in the PowerPoint that shows when the speech is, in action, the speech being given. And I've highlighted the things that I'm looking for, in yellow, okay? So you have to type your speech and post it here. See the reply button, go to hit the reply button, post your speech, 500 words, the whole speech here. Okay, once you do that, needs to be done by Saturday, 5 p.m. by Saturday, November 14th. That's the deadline. If you want to do it earlier, go ahead, be my guest. Do it earlier, okay? Once you do that, go to GoReact. First thing is you go to GoReact and now deliver your speech, your informative speech on GoReact. There will be, I can show it to you 1 second here. Can I just, yeah. So this is where I am, GoReact. Go to GoReact by November 14th, by 5 p.m. Go there. Once you've submitted your speech in the discussion forum, go to GoReact, click this. You'll see informative speech, dress rehearsal, create your video, post your video there, all right? And then go back to the discussion forum. 1 second here. Okay, so now remember, I asked you to submit your written typed out speech here. Once you do that, you finish that, go to GoReact, submit your profile speech, submit your informative speech, dress rehearsal by 5 p.m. on Saturday, November 14th. And by 11:59 on 1 second, yeah, by 11:59, see, by 11:59 on November 14th, which is Saturday, I want you to, by that time, if all the posts, because 5 p.m. deadline, you know, by 5 p.m. everything should be coming in. By that time, all the posts have been made here in the discussion forum, all the speeches have come. I want you to choose at least 2 of your classmates and provide your feedback based on the written speech, okay? Just based on the written speech, provide your feedback. The deadline for that is 11:59, Saturday, November 14th. What do you have to provide your feedback? What are the things that you will be looking at? Tell us how the speaker is using these, maybe using one or maybe using multiple of the strategies, defining, describing, explaining, demonstration. How well does the speaker or the speech do that, right? Then provide some feedback which will help him or her make the speech stronger. Okay, so that needs to be done here in the discussion forum. You not only put your speech here by 5 p.m. by November 14th, Saturday, you will, once all this come in by on Saturday itself, by 11:59 p.m. 14th November 14th, Saturday, you need to provide comments to at least 2 of the speeches that you review. Okay, so that's one thing that goes for November 14th. All right, November 15th, go to GoReact, and by 5 p.m. you provide a final informative speech. Okay, so you, by that night, you will see that you know, maybe some mistakes that you've made, you don't want to do that, you want to, you know, you've done that drill, so you get the opportunity to sleep through it, and then November 15th is the final one that you need to post. Okay, and once you do that by 5 p.m. November 15th, Sunday, you've already posted it on GoReact. Here I'm going to GoReact, so I'm talking about this. You've already posted it. Well done. Okay, and then what you need to do by 5 p.m. all the videos should be in. All right, so from that time to 11:59, you have time to 11:59 on November 15th, Sunday. You need to choose, just like you did, you need to choose at least 5 speeches to review. Okay, you need to review and provide your video comments. All right, provide your video comments to 5 speeches that you hear on GoReact. Okay, so this is what I've said. Go to GoReact by 5, you know, this, and then provide your, choose at least 5 of your classmates on GoReact and provide your video comment. All right. The reason is this is oral communication class. I need to see how you're using your gestures, how you're communicating, how well you are able to communicate using your gestures, nonverbal communication, your words, your word choice, all of that in that video comment. All right, so you're going to use the video comments and choose at least 5 speeches on GoReact that so that your peers find it very helpful. Okay, not only do they get a video comment from me, they also get it from their peers, classmates. And this needs to be done. You need to finish providing your video comments by 11:59, which is, I think, ample time on November 15th. So this is what you need to do, class. All right. So again, I am open. I think I got a text from one of your classmates, and I will respond right now. Wants to set up a meeting with me, which I will gladly do. If you have any questions, please text, call me anytime, and I will set up a meeting with you. Either we'll do it on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever that is helpful and useful to you. I'm not running away. I'm just here. That's my job. I'm here to help. Okay. So thank you, and I will see you soon. Bye.